That's what happened, but I'm going to check into it. Hey, look at us. We're streaming. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey.
Howdy, howdy.
What you know good? How was everybody's Father's Day?
Oh, I had some barbecue, so I can never complain about that. I think it's fourth time this week.
I just actually pulled, like at 7:20, I just pulled my brisket off that I had smoking all day. Actually went to see my niece and my nephew first communion. I went to their mass way over in Arlington, so I put the brisket on, and I'm telling you, Brother Sessions would have been proud of me. It was low and slow. I had a hell of a time keeping the temperature to where I needed it to be, but I finally got it up to 195 internal, man. I pulled that thing off there, and dude, it was amazing. So I may I may intentionally start trying to drop my temperature and keep it down right at like 200 and just cook it for a heck of a lot longer. Anyway, enough about that. So Bradley, T-Bone, what are we doing tonight?
So tonight's topic is what it's like being a Mason's wife / worshipful master's wife / never see your husband again life. Because ultimately, it's because of them that we can be Masons. Can't say enough. Thankful for our other half, our spouses, for allowing us to become better men and become better Masons. I can't speak for her, but I'd say I probably became a better husband deeper I get into this. Maybe. I at least think I am.
Absolutely.
I'll hear that peanut shaking in there. No. Oh, that one.
Brad, you were paying attention to all that, weren't you, Brad?
Yeah. So speaking of taking care of things to allow us to do masonry things, my wife is in there getting the daughter ready for bed and giving her a bath and singing to her and, getting her ready to go to sleep for the night. So,
and me and Brad were at, that forum, what was it? 12 hours yesterday or something. 13 hours.
It was like 8 hours.
It was solid 8 hours.
Yeah. But we stopped for lunch and a break, and so. But yeah, I mean, it was good though. It was a lot of information.
Where was it at?
A lot of information at Arlington Lodge, and right off of Abrams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on.
Across the street from the Masonic retirement community over there.
Oh, shut up and take my money.
If I could retire now, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, just shove me in there. Forget about me. It's
me
fine.
First. I'm the old guy of the group, so me first.
Yeah, I still got more living to do. I ain't ready for that.
Well, that's why I want to retire, so I can get.
They got games. They got food. I mean, they are living.
Yeah.
Did y'all go over there and check it out, or just you saw it across the street sort of thing?
Oh, you saw it across the street.
Yeah, it was kind of across the street, but I have been there. I mean, Family Day is a great day to go check it out, which is coming up in October, I believe.
Second Saturday of October.
Matter of fact, we're cooking turkey legs there, aren't we?
Yeah. Yep. Our lodge is actually going to be cooking turkey legs this year out there. And so speaking of the forum, we basically ran into a guy that's doing they do a raffle called Help a Child, and they raffle off a Kubota tractor, like a side-by-side.
Every year they do a side-by-side, yeah.
Yeah, and with a trailer that it sits on and you can pull it. But we're probably going to be selling some of their tickets for them. But all that money that they make off of that all goes to the kids.
Yeah.
And they make a lot of money on that deal. So
when you say Kubota tractor, are you talking like one of the big ones?
It's a side-by-side.
Yeah, it's Kubota brand side-by-side utility.
Wow.
It's diesel, got a dump bed, 2-seater. It's really nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
I mean, it's altogether well over $20,000 worth of trailer and side by side.
I was gonna say Kubota's not cheap.
No, and it's a workhorse, solid tank, tough as nails.
Man, that's awesome, and all that money goes to the kids.
So we should have him on here pretty soon, the next week or so. I talked to him earlier, so we should be able to hear more about that soon. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, Clay, did you ask him to get on here with us and talk to him? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. So, what is it like to be a Mason's wife for you? Like, what is it like for you?
At first, I probably knew very surface level about it. So when Tony and I first started dating, he was like, "So I'm a Mason," and I was like, "That's for old dudes, but cool, right?" So, like, both of my grandfathers were Masons. Both of them were in the shrine. Both of them were, well, my mom's dad was far more active in the shrine. I grew up at Hella Shrine.
Here in Garland.
In Garland, and going to dinners and seeing the clowns and listening to the band. I mean, I did all of that, but I knew kind of the pomp and circumstance part of Masonry, which, I mean, the shrine is awesome. I've been to the hospital, spent time doing charity work for it. So that was my experience growing up with what is the fraternity. As he started getting more involved, being especially the steward of his first year and getting to cook the meals. So our, first Thursday of the month turned into an all-day cooking event, making sure the guys were fed. And so I got to know the guys and started realizing that this is for real. These are folks that really care about him, care about me, would do anything for me. So I started learning a lot more about it. And now granted, there's only so much you can read about, but being able to witness it, seeing just the guys, I mean, be such great men. See him become better has led me to be like, okay, this isn't just for old dudes. There's got to be more to it. Even though I wish I could get into the inner sanctum, but so that's probably the hardest part being a wife, is knowing you want to be supportive, but you'll never know all of it. There's this part of their life that you don't have access to, even though you do, but you don't.
But do you feel like you're an oddball in that? And I don't mean that wrong.
Probably. Oh, absolutely. I know I'm weird like that, because
some women probably like, oh, thank God he's gone.
He's just gone every day. And I'm over here like, but he has a thing that I can't know about and be involved in and understand. And it's like a big, important part now of who he is. And there's just pieces of it that even through, conversations I've pieced together in my head and things you read online, the real stuff, not the conspiracy theories and how y'all are controlling the government and the weather or whatever. Those are my favorite. But I do learn as much as I can. I've read pretty much the whole law book from the Grand Lodge front to back. He watched me do it over a few days and was like, "What?" I was like, "It's interesting." So, yeah. I mean, just like, where do things come from? It was like, I'm always interested in the circumstances that have led to some of the like grand master decisions. I'm like, I can only imagine the argument ahead of that.
Yeah.
Just having experienced some of the things I have now. So, but honestly, being a wife, and again, I'm probably far more involved than a lot of them are. I don't do Eastern Star, and that's a whole other conversation for me I'll have to get into, but you don't have to do Eastern Star to be a good wife to your Mason. You just show up for him, show up for the lodge when you can. Whether that's making sure that his jeans are starched for the meeting, or his lodge shirts are clean, whatever that looks like. I think all the little things, or if you're holding down as the wife, holding down the fort so that he can be gone for a couple nights a month. I mean, that's not exactly a huge sacrifice. Now I will say though, once he started working through the chairs, he got into that senior warden right before going into the East. That got a little more Stressful for me.
Who was worshipful master at that point, he depended on me a lot. I was his right hand man to get things done. So,
And that was during COVID too.
It was. There was COVID, and there weren't a lot of in-person meetings. And with Tony, he was also, I mean, a year and a half before going into the East, he was putting things in place. I mean, we were talking basically business plans, building this trestle board. Like, we were sitting here at night, I'm sitting and painting, banging away on the keyboard and helping him organize things so that he had it ready. And just talking over, like, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Here's what the budget needs to look like. Here's what what I want to leave balance sheet. And we were talking about it no different than we did our own business. Because two heads are better than one. But once you go into the East, though, that's the game changing. That's when people feel like you should be available to them 24/7. And there's not a lot of boundaries. And in that life, like,
but I also feel like I opened myself up to that in a sense.
He wanted,
and you knew that about
me. He's always going to be available to people. There were times where I was ready to wring his neck. We'd be out hunting with our birds, and he was getting phone calls, and it was hard for him to be present in our time. But at the same time, seeing the good he was doing for the lodge, and hopefully these long-term programs he was trying to build were far more important than a few hours of our time at that point. Like, I got that. Like, that made sense to me, that this was something that was going to hopefully outlive both of us. So, just had to really put it into perspective. And I had to remind myself of that a few times, where I wanted to be like, look, if you get another phone call from the secretary, I'm throwing your phone in a creek. Like, but.
And I still get phone calls from the secretary.
Yes, you're still getting phone calls from the secretary. I'd see the name pop up, and I'd be like,
we just talked about that, actually.
Yeah, headphones going in. I'm going to ignore y'all's conversation. But we do spend, and I work from home. He has a business that's from home, so we probably do spend a lot more time around each other than us other husband wives. We have, we have a lot of, we hunt together, we work out together, we travel together. So it's hard not for me to see some of the good and the bad. Especially being in the East.
Yeah. What you're saying basically is a lot of what we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. Chris has brought the topic up several times about outsiders that aren't Masons. They can read all about Masonry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can actually find all the secrets in several hundreds of books. If you just read through, you can find it all.
Yeah.
But it means different things to you because you haven't experienced Masonry yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so
the hard part, right, is I've read tons of it. I could probably talk about it, some things more than most. Just, again, I listen, I pay attention, I'm observant. But again, it's not that anything's a secret. It's the way it's all put together and presented. That's where the power is. It's going through the initiation. I don't know what that looks like. I've heard some of the jokes, so I can assume there's some shenanigans, but I've also heard how excited folks are afterwards, and the way, Chris, you're probably my prime example, is after you got initiated, I just remember the excitement and the fire you had. Like it made me want to join, how excited you were. Like, I'm like, why can't I do this? Sounds awesome. Right? And they're like, no girls allowed. And I'm just like, you're a bunch of weirdos. Should have all the girls. We get shit done.
It's a lot of what you're saying is.
You might have a valid point there.
We could at least figure out what to cook for dinner.
We know what to cook for dinner. Green beans.
It's always green beans.
Part of the lodge. Always green beans.
I do make fantastic.
He does make good green beans.
You have to be able to. That's part of it. You have to be able to make good green beans and good green bean casserole. So much of what you're saying, though, is so cool, because I see that with my wife. We've got a lot of parallels, because me and my wife basically work at home all the time, so we're together. But it's funny because it's almost every week, if not more than once a week, Amazon drives up to the front of the house and our Ring doorbell goes off when they drop off the package, and she's like, another Mason book. But she's excited. She gets excited, and she's not one that sits there and even tries to get anything from me that I shouldn't tell. It's cool. She's real happy for me because she knows what it means.
You found a passion.
That I did, and I think that I would like to think that she's seen some changes since, so that's cool. A lot of what you're saying really resonates with me and, with my wife. And I think it takes a special lady. It does. It just does,
Yes. And people ask me, like,
did we even introduce you?
Oh, sure.
This is Mel. I don't even know if to everybody on the interwebs.
Tony's wife.
Yeah, Tony's wife. That works.
20 minutes into it, we
yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, we're terrible at this. We're figuring it out. Oh. Hey, I'm sitting here talking to Chris and Brad, who I already know. So it's you forget. True. in the interwebs.
You've been family to me for what, at least 2.5 years?
I think so. Yeah. Almost 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, like, what was one of the biggest things for you to adjust to as a Mason's wife? Not only while he was occupying the East, but just overall.
Why is he taking the truck again? I told him to take the car.
No, I mean, having grown up around it, like, just there probably wasn't a whole lot of any adjustments per se. It was just knowing there was a portion of his life that is going to be dedicated to this thing that I'm kind of more peripheral to than actually involved in. And that's still sometimes an adjustment because I'll want to ask more questions that I know I probably am not supposed to know the answers to. And so I am super inquisitive. Like, I like to know things. My favorite thing is to learn. I want to know all the things.
She would be a professional student if she could.
For life. If I really could, I would just collect PhDs.
I have one of those, plain high school diploma.
But and there's so much of Masonry that, aside from the ritual and the obligation and the things that I don't really necessarily know about, that are, I mean, inherently fascinating, with the symbology, the history. I think those pieces are just really cool because you can find, the Masonic references in symbology all over the place if you know what you're looking for. So I think that's really cool.
How do you feel like your relationship is with other Masons' wives that you come across? I know I just hit that out of the blue.
I mean, granted, it's like you already have a network. I know that I can call some of the wives at any time and be like, hey, I need a hand, right? And vice versa. Any one of them could call me at any time and say, help. Put their hand up, say, I need my tribe, and I'm going to come running, because that's what you should do for family. It's like I have a whole extended set of brothers and sisters, and so that's pretty cool. But I also see a lot of the wives as the lodge is something my husband does, and I don't really get involved, and so I have a harder time probably getting some of those closer relationships. But there's a few I've spent time with.
So do you think that is something that us as husbands should nurture to our wives and try to get them more involved? Or how do you think we should handle that situation?
So my favorite thing that has happened in the lodge was when we got together in the dinners once a month. I loved it. I got to know, Anthony's wife really well, and Chris Smith's wife, Brad's, wife. I got to know, even Cookie, even though, Phil's not in the lodge anymore. I didn't spend time with Cookie. I spent time getting to know Steve's wife. And so there's just been a lot of the women through that I feel like I was able to spend time with and get to know and sit down and have really good conversations. Because food does that, like sitting down for a meal, breaking
the Baptists
bread.
had
Right?
figured that out.
I mean, it's absolutely true. That's nothing brings people together like a good meal.
Breaking bread.
So I love that. I wish we could get back to that. I'm hoping, Brad, that that's on the docket, because I think that was something incredibly valuable for.
That was my big thing. I hated that we just met once a month for business. I mean, and I see Brad wanting more than that also, and he's wanting what you're describing, the fellowship of getting together and connecting more.
And I want the other women to know that I'm there for them. There's probably not many experiences you can have with your husband in the lodge that I've not also had. We all have, and can speak to and can help with. And, Brad, you're going into the East, and if Martha needs anything, like, I have no problem, being there to support, to, come help with Riley, to come and help her with stuff around the house, whatever she needs. Right. I mean, because I've been there. I know what that looks like.
Right.
So just to make sure that all the wives know they have partners in crime and people who can help them out. I think that's critical for y'all's success.
Yeah.
For the wives to feel supported.
And for what it's worth, Bradley, I mean, Martina, it's constant with her. She's like, when is the next family night? When are we going back to the burger place over in?
I know, I love your wife, Chris. She's fantastic too.
She's pretty awesome, man. I got really lucky. I really did.
All that big money you make. It's all that big money you make.
No, Chris. You know what it is? It's because you can play guitar. Let's not kid ourselves.
The funny thing is she tunes so much of my garbage out. You know what I mean? If I'm sitting there just noodling, I mean, I don't play as much as I used to, but she's so sweet, man. And I just try not to, play over the TV or anything like that. But no, she really, she really.
Did you say noodling?
Noodling.
Yeah,
noodling.
Just picking.
Noodling, just picking. But yeah, the family nights are massive, man. Joe Willie's, go down to Union Valley, go Charlie's, whatever. And she walked out of those things feeling as amped as I did after we had them.
They're a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I made a move actually yesterday. I made a move yesterday and actually asked Burgers and Fries if we can do that again yesterday. I asked them that, and the owner wasn't there, but I told the manager like I said, here's my number and this is what we're doing. We're trying to raise money for the scholarship, and we can come in and give you guys some business on a slow night, and we get to hang out together. So it's a win-win-win.
I think another one that would be cool to do would be at sessions with, see what Chad would do, and even maybe do one of the music nights, and instead of trying to do it downtown or do anything fancy there, just do it. Work with Chad. That would be a great
all
spot.
The outside space.
Yeah.
But I know I'm glad to hear that you're working towards that again, Brad. And as you know, whatever you need, I volunteer Tony to keep helping you.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be my left-hand man.
Yes.
Sitting on my left.
For the second.
So he's actually going to have a busier job than me, because he's got a lot of stuff he's got to do to keep up with the administration of the lodge, being a secretary. And I just got to sit up there and look pretty. I've already done all my planning, really.
Yeah, just show up and bang the gavel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, have you picked out your hat, though? That's the important part.
Yeah, it's actually fat.
You can borrow this one if you
found it. This is my hat right there.
Nasty stains.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
Oh,
So that's a summer hat. What about your
dude? Hat? Did Jason Aldean just join the call, or what happened?
It's D. White Yoakum.
Then it would be black straw, and
Now that's a good look for you, man. I can't
That
pull
looks.
I can't pull the cowboy hat off. That means I guess I can never like sit in the East, right? Because
No, you
Yeah.
just have to wear a hat. You could wear a ball cap, right?
my
I'm considering buying a Ronnie Van Zant hat with the snake skin.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh, that would be
they're like
completely.
$1,000.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is
And I don't think
100% you.
Mm-hmm. But it would be
yeah.
fantastic.
So but I gotta have my head measured because it's a lot of money for a hat just to order over the internet.
What size
Mm-hmm.
do you wear, Brad?
Well, they ask you like the shape of your head and everything. Like um
And your
this
neck.
hat right here was I think it's 7.5 or 7 3/8. Yeah, this one's 7.5. 7 3/8 will actually fit, but it's kind of tight front to back because I got a weird shaped head, big head too. There's a lot of brains up there, you know.
That's mine, but I don't have the brains. It's just hollow. Nothing there.
But yeah, I really liked the that part about the family nights. That was really important to me. That's one thing we haven't really done in the last couple of years. And I feel like we've really drifted apart as a lodge. We don't fellowship outside of lodge hardly ever. And that's going to be my main drive is to try to get through the business of the lodge during the meetings and then have fellowship with the guys afterwards for 30 minutes. I mean, it doesn't take long. You can fellowship for 30 minutes, uh, have a frosty beverage or a soda pop or some kind of libation and or libation, however you say that, and just hanging out and talking together and being friends,
Mhm.
friends and brothers. That's really important. And if we can get to like each other again, I think we all like each other, but I feel like if we were a little bit closer, like we would want to push more for the family things to do, you know, carve more time out of our schedules to do family things more often.
Well, Nick, you know what? You hit on something. I was thinking about this the other day, and I didn't text it because it may not have translated right. But yeah, that kind of thing. You guys have seen Goodfellas, right? The movie.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Tony hasn't,
time
but
and
I
time
have.
again,
I got
probably.
you.
But you know the part where she's speaking, she's doing the overdub on, and it shows them all together, and they're always together. And she goes, "There was never anybody from the outside. We were always together, and it didn't seem weird to us."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that right there, that's what I want,
Mm-hmm.
that right there. And I think you're right, is to pull it together, Brad, and to have those opportunities again, but they're not one-offs, and things like that, because I do feel like you can drift apart if all you do is you see each other on lodge night, but you're not really hanging out and talking that much because you're taking care of the lodge business. And then a couple times a year when you're cooking turkey legs and you're rushing working, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really lend itself to a lot of, hey, dude, didn't you say you went to college here or whatever? You really get deep down into knowing who your brothers are. And I
Well,
think
knowing
that's,
what they care about, right? If you don't know what they care about, you don't know how to care for them.
well,
Like,
and the thing about it is when I do talk to them and they start telling me what they're into, then that always leads me down this rabbit hole of, holy smokes, I'm learning. Now I'm researching what this dude said he's into,
mm-hmm.
and it's cool. I got more knowledge out of it. And I think that's the whole point to me.
Finding other ways to connect to people, like figuring out what set someone's soul on fire, and then being like, hey, that's a cool thing, and being able to talk to them about it because people love to talk about what they're passionate about. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's the basis of a connection right there is just figuring out what somebody just really truly cares about.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
makes total sense.
100%. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when Brad gets in there. And I know that I know Brad, you and Tony, connect on so many things, um, to kind of keep some of those legacies that Tony put into place alive. Really important to me.
Yeah, definitely. That's the
Awesome.
plan, is to grow together and try to, make moves to at least keep the doors open and
We're going to
maybe
make
get
business
some.
happen.
If we're out hanging out in the community together, people are going to see us as a group
Mhm.
and be like, "Hey, what are those guys over there talking about?"
Yeah.
You
What's
know,
this about? What's this thing?
and then
Mhm.
they come over and talk to us. Or we may run into a Mason that hasn't been to lodge in years, and he's hanging out in the bar by himself, and or wherever we go. He may that happened to me the other day. I went to go visit East Trinity Lodge. They had about a 30, maybe 45-minute meeting. They closed, and then everybody went over to this little pizza place, and they were having drinks and a pizza, and they already had meal before, but they had pizza and snacks after as well. Well, there was a guy that was a past master of that lodge sitting in the bar by himself, and they actually got him to come over and join us, and he said, "Yeah, I'm wanting to come back." And that's the type of thing that I'm wanting to have happen, is run into that person that needs us, that forgot about us.
And
Yeah.
if you're not out there, that's never gonna happen.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
not. It's just what you're saying is so important. And not even necessarily, maybe you can do a little field trip sort of thing with it and do something in Terrell or not Terrell, but Greenville or Rockwall or something like that on a special occasion to where you're kind of out and maybe run into some other guys. I'm having fun traveling, man. I'm having a blast doing that, and I never thought I'd being so early into it, I never thought I'd really get down with it that much. And
Right.
it's quickly becoming one of my favorite things because every time I go, I'm like, holy smokes, you can do that? This is awesome.
You're working on your black belt for masonry. Take a piece from here, take a piece from there.
Absolutely, dude.
Hmm.
Plug me into the Masonic matrix. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really where I get all my ideas, is from what I'm seeing out in other places.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think when you
Yeah.
work in a vacuum, man, you're just not gonna, you're just gonna go around in a circle. And
Hmm.
that gets old to people too. I understand that. The boredom sets in and it's predictable and you're like, but yeah, that's cool. Have any of you guys? I wanted to ask you real quick. Have any of you guys watched the 33 degree and beyond? I think
I
it's
think I've
called.
heard of it, but I don't think I have.
Boy, I've watched it twice. And man, it is amazing. It's out there on Prime Video. Heck, you can probably even find it on YouTube. So good. It was actually directed. What's his name? Johnny. I apologize if Johnny ever sees this. I can't remember his last name right now, but he's out of L.A. I think it is. Watch it if you get the chance. Holy
It's
smokes, it's
called
cool.
again.
33 degree, 33 degree and beyond or something like. I'll look it up. It's
33 and Beyond, the Royal Art of Freemasonry.
bingo. Why'd you ask me? You already knew. That's awesome.
Uh,
Yes. That's
just Google's amazing.
it really is. Watch it. I encourage everyone to watch it, man. It's just such a neat. It's a neat thing, and it covers some stuff about York Rite. It covers some stuff about Scottish Rite. It covers, but and then Blue Lodge. But man, it is cool, and I guarantee you I'll watch it again this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
That's our homework this week, guys. Watch the movie next
Hey,
week. We got to
absolutely.
report back on it.
I want to see
Yeah.
what you guys see and if y'all catch things that I don't. But it was just really, you could tell that everyone they had speak so educated, and so passionate about it. And I think that's so. When I'm having a rough day or something like that, and I'm sitting in there and I'm, banging stuff out, I'll put it on in the background, and man, it just fires me right back up. It's a good shot in the arm, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, the whole traveling thing, I learned that from Tony. When Mel was out of town working, Tony Tony was hungry and he didn't,
When is
Ain't
Tony
that
and he
what's
didn't.
on the apron? A fork and a
He's
knife?
like, he calls Buzz and he's like, "Hey Buzz, I'm hungry. Let's go visit this lodge. They're meeting tonight, and I can eat."
It's
And they
true though.
called me too.
You know what's funny about Tony is until I met Tony, I used to feel so self-conscious because I could literally sit and knock out a large pizza by myself. And I'm like, dude, you do that too? I don't feel bad about me anymore. It's awesome, man. I was self-conscious and stuff, I'd go hungry because I didn't want to look like a glutton.
But yeah, so even as an EA, I went along with these guys, Tony and Buzz, and that was a lot of fun. That was my first experiences with Masonry was right out of the gate, traveling to other lodges and checking it out and meeting other people, and man, it's been great. I haven't really stopped doing it ever since. So.
No, I think you cut a hole in the floor and put the pedal through the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm here to just throw gas on you. I love it every second of the way.
No, Brad's a machine, man. You want to talk about a guy that is, I mean, passionate? That dude, which side are you on of me, Brad? Whichever side you're on, is that guy. That guy is passionate right there, man.
I think to your left.
I'm over here on my screen.
Yep, correct.
It doesn't matter. You want to get fired up, talk to Brad. Brad knows stuff. He'll get you fired up.
Yeah, we were at that forum and Cody basically called me out in front of everybody and was like saying all the stuff he's proud of me for. And I was like, look, I'm just doing what they were doing, 50 years ago. So, because Harry was sitting on one side of me and Danny was on the other. And I was just doing what they were doing, and what Tony, I just did what they do. And really that's.
And just memorized it.
Yeah.
Your memorization, from what I've been told, is pretty spectacular. So well done.
But don't ask him what he did yesterday.
That doesn't count.
He probably put in 30 AC units.
No. No, we actually, after that, we went out to, me and my wife went out to my friends at Lake Tawakoni and riding 4-wheelers through the woods and the water and the mud and the swamp and
heck yeah, that's awesome.
Shooting bow and arrows and chasing cottonmouths back to the water. And
heck yeah.
Wow.
Well, any more questions for this one?
Just parting questions is there anything else besides family nights that really you like about Masonry, that the parts that you can join in with?
I mean, I always like the volunteer work. I mean, even though it was trash pickup and some days that was absolutely miserable, again, it was just another time where there was, getting together and cutting up and donuts and coffee and, getting to meet the Rainbow Girls who would come in and help out. And I mean, with the local Cub Scouts that would come in and high school kids that needed community service hours and, just all those folks in the community that have reached out and partnered, and to keep those partnerships.
A high school teacher has reached back out to me and wants to get them back involved.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think finding some other types of community service volunteer work. I know that's hard because it ends up being the same core group of people that do a lot of it, but it also continues to, promote the group, the lodge, encourage participation
manner
from the community, and being able to help these kids especially get out there and do some good work.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
I think you said it our last get together. You never know the ripple that you're going to have, these effects we have on these kids or something like that.
Yeah.
That's really been sticking in my head quite a bit here lately.
Future Masons, man.
Mm-hmm.
Future Masons.
Also, I do appreciate that the raffles aren't always just guns. Finding stuff we can get behind, right?
Spa day.
Hotel rooms, trips. I mean, I think that's where also getting a little more creative with some of the raffles, because there are some cool laws that have changed that allow more than one raffle a year in Texas. So
yeah, if you can come up with a good idea for us to raffle, we actually got approval to do $1,500 worth of prizes for raffles this year, and we need to come up with an idea. So if you can come up with something that maybe you would like to see on there, then that will help us, because that's all we know is fishing trip and rifle and a pistol, and a spa day. It's really what our go-to. So
I will. I have some ideas that I'll send with Tony and possibly my travel agent's phone number.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
They were just saying something about Morocco, Brad, so watch out.
I'm not in Morocco right now. I'd love to be in Morocco.
Well,
that's just my 2 cents.
Thanks for coming in. Another thing I would recommend is I've always invited my wife to come eat supper with us before the stated meetings, but she's always busy with my daughter. So, but I see that in a lot of lodges, their wives come up there and eat with us. That tends to help them feel more included.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would encourage that.
I would love to. And every once in a while I used to stop in and grab a plate, but I have yoga usually till 7. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, but that's probably one of the few things that I'm not able to make.
Yeah. Well,
with saying that, I know at some point, I know we'd be changing a lot of stuff, but I would like us to extend our dining room into the lodge if possible. I know we had to change a lot of things around, but I feel like that's the one thing. If we could add on to our dining room,
100%.
We got plenty of lodge to give up in a sense.
100%.
Are you talking about actually pushing wall out?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I'd like a more professional kitchen dining area. And we're not allowed to rent out the lodge room, but there's nothing against renting out the dining room. So I mean, people renting out for baby showers, whatever, that's another form of income for the lodge. Mm-hmm. And right now we don't have that. We can't supply that for the community. So at some point, when Brad hits the lottery this year, he's going to donate, and we're going to extend
I've been trying
the dining room.
Same.
So a lot of air conditioned units, brother.
Gonna get scratch offs and hit that jackpot.
But I think that's something. I know that's probably a few years out, but it's something that we should put in.
Be working towards
a year down the line.
But there's probably also an interim solution that we could talk through. Like, even though the dining room isn't ideal, with the right TLC and setup, I mean, certain events, it could still be. We could still make some things happen.
Theoretically, you're not allowed. The Grand Lodge law doesn't allow you to use lodge room.
I meant the dining room. Did I say lodge room? I was thinking. Oh, sorry, the dining room. My bad. I meant the dining room. I know we can't use the lodge room.
So, anywho,
I digress.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Definitely. Happy Father's Day.
Indeed.
That's all I really have for today. Do you have anything else, Chris?
I don't. Thank you guys so much, man.
Thanks, Neil, for tagging along today.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Saving us, giving us content.
Yeah.
That's really what it
is good.
That's awesome. All right, brothers. Well, I guess we'll see y'all next week and do it all over again.
Sounds good.
All right. See you next week. talking about things regarding Texas Freemasonry.
That's the one.